to A Well-Designed Business. My name is LuAnn and I'm so glad you found this podcast. Together with my husband Vince and our partner Bill, we have grown our company Window Works from the ground up. So I know and I understand the challenges you face in running your interior design business. I also know that your talent alone isn't enough to ensure your success. So on this podcast, we talk about strategies and practical steps to help you grow your business. But make no mistake about it, we have our share of fun here too, mixed in with those aha moments that I love so much. This isn't fluff. Nobody has time for that. Whether you are a new interior designer or a seasoned designer, I am here to help you create and to manage the kind of interior design firm that you dream of. It's straight talk and it's action. Are you ready? Let's get started. Hi, welcome to A Well-Designed Business. If you've been hanging around me and this podcast for a while, then you know that I'm typically one of the most energetic people in the room, no matter what the room is, right? But my guest today, Lori Morris, actually might be more energetic than I am. In fact, she is one of the most passionate and driven people I have come across in these 4.5 years on this podcast. Lori is not just a designer. She's a true artist, dedicated to her craft and to her own signature style that she has developed over the years. Since 1987, she has grown her company from the ground up, committed to bringing an unprecedented standard of luxury and design to her clients. She now leads a team of 40 and caters to luxury clients strictly. Her firm provides also a unique and innovative concierge service to cater to her clients' needs. I'm waiting to hear your opinion of this. And the ladies that were in our summer mastermind, pay close attention. Now, today, Lori is going to share with us what it takes to grow your business to that level, to attract luxury clients, and to deliver the level of service and design that they expect. Even as Lori's business has grown so large, she maintains creative control and has a hand in every project they take on. Each home she designs is custom created to suit the needs of her client, and she views every project as a work of art that requires the highest level of attention and craftsmanship. Our show sponsor, Monogram, is also dedicated to craftsmanship and customization, the finest in luxury kitchen appliances for your luxury clients, with 2 distinct collections to serve your most discerning clients, the Minimalist Collection and the Statement Collection. Each collection features everything your client needs, from refrigerators, 5-in-1 ovens, ranges, cooktops, hoods, and so much more. Explore their entire line and get set up in their designer trade program. Go to monogram.com/LuAnn. That's monogram.com/LuAnn. All right, I am looking forward to having you hear Lori tell us about the artistry, the service, and how she works with luxury clients. Hi, Lori. Thanks so much for joining me on A Well-Designed Business today.
Hi, LuAnn.
So, Lori, I have been enjoying our pre-air chat, getting to know you and the powerhouse that you are. And first of all, I just want to share with all of my listeners who, especially the listeners who have seen me lately during the summer of COVID, doing a lot of Zoom and video calls, and have seen my goddess that sits right behind me at my desk. And when you go to Lori's website, you are going to see that Lori has a goddess of her own. And I'm going to leave it at that. You guys go look at my videos, go look at Lori's website, but just know that from the moment I saw your website, Lori, I went, this is my kind of lady. So here's the thing. You have a heck of a business on your hands. You are, first of all, building luxury homes. You have a team of 40 people in-house. You have lots of balls in the air. And one of the things that I loved learning about you, Lori, was you not only design and work with the builders and the architects to design and deliver a magnificently built custom home and appointed home, but I want to get into a little bit what you do once you deliver that home to your client, that you have another company under your umbrella that picks up and offers another service. Would you tell us what that's called and describe that a little bit for us?
Well, the short term is LMC, which stands for Lori Morris Concierge, and it was developed many years ago because as I started designing these houses and we started building these houses with our builders, and we would get into a full design decoration, and it was just a very long, arduous period of 4 to 5 years sometimes to build these houses, sometimes 6. And then afterwards, they'd have a whole team of people that they would be working with, our clients. And then afterwards, we'd be finished their house, and then they would start asking, like, Lori, where do I get my chandeliers cleaned? I need some new towels. I need to fix the scratch on my floor. And it just evolved naturally out of the progression of working with all these clients into developing a company where we've referred to it as Lori Morris Concierge, but really it's house maintenance. And what we do is after we finish building your house, or we renovate your house, or the full decoration process is done, you move into that part of our company, and you move into the different company called LMC. And what that does is it's a full service white glove concierge service where we literally take care of anything that you have in your house, from setting up your parties to your seasonal planters to your chandelier cleaning to your window washing to any, upgrade in your sheets and towels or anything deficient going on in your house. And it's a great part of the service because I find that I don't want them to feel neglected when we finish their house and that we're not available, because our service is so important to us in terms of maintaining our client happiness, for lack of a better word. So we really just have that company set in place so that it's literally a natural transition to just roll right into it, and therefore you don't feel sort of, empty out in the ocean and nothing, nowhere to call or nothing to do to help you with anything in your house. Because not only do you become addicted to our company and our services that we provide, but it's also very intimidating and daunting when you have a really big house and now you have to maintain it and not knowing where to go or who to go. So we like to help everybody out with that.
It's genius, because I can imagine in the beginning, before you had this developed as a process and then formulated it into an official company, literally the phone calls were probably coming in every single week. Yeah.
Not nonstop. And the problem is, it was like they were very accustomed to having, a serious team of players that would help them through their whole building process, the design process, the decoration process. And this could be anywhere from, like I said, a minimum of a 2 to a 6 year ordeal getting these houses all organized. And, at the end, you kind of feel a little bit, almost, very unaware of what to do when anything happens. And sometimes you just get nervous of thinking like, oh, I don't know how to maintain these floors. I don't know what to do when something happens. Or I had a huge party and red wine's everywhere. Help,
Right.
So this way they have a full service that can take care of anything that they need.
And the thing about it is that when we're talking about the luxury client, they want this service. To your point,
Absolutely.
You have just spent 4, 5, 6 years taking care of every little thing connected to their life and their house. And to them, just keep doing it. Tell me the price. Keep doing it, because I want a professional to do it. There's no, oh, you think I should pay you for that, right? It's like, please do that, right?
Well, yeah, because the problem also is too, so you only want a certain level of quality of workmanship and trades in your house. Mm-hmm. And the trades that work with us, most of them work exclusively for us and our clients. So, it's not a process where the client will just call the marble fabricator and say, I have a scratch on my floor, can you come fix it? Well, he's going to be way too busy to come fix a scratch on your floor. But if we call them and orchestrate it, we can give them the exact time, the exact day, when exactly they're coming, and take care of the service for them. And it's just a very, very easy transition. It's like being in the best hotel in the world and having all kinds of people all around you taking care of you.
That's a great way. And of course, hence the name concierge. That's exactly
Yes.
what it is. It's like being in your own home, and it's operating like a hotel. Anything
Yes.
that you need, you just pick up the phone. Hi, Lori.
And the answer is yes.
Yes. Be happy to do that for you, Mrs. So-and-so.
Yes. The answer is yes. Whatever you want.
Yes. So, Lori, walk us through a little bit about the transition. So, are you at a point in your business and your business model now that when you sign a client to do the design build process, is it just, and at this point, just like we're going to take our photographs after installation, we're going to roll you into concierge and here's the pricing for that? Or do you approach it as you are involved in and they're saying, oh, how am I ever going to take care of this? Don't worry. Let me sit you down and show you.
We let them know from the beginning. When they retain us, we sit them down through the whole process of what's to be involved. I mean, obviously every project is different. Every scope of every project is different, but but everybody, once we've understood their scope of work and we start the project, we let them know that when it's done, they'll be rolling right into concierge. So they know that they're not going to be left alone, and they know they're going to be always serviced. So it's a very comforting tool for them.
Okay. And is it a monthly, a yearly fee? How do you work that out?
Well, it depends. Again, it's so custom. We have some clients that want to be able to talk to us on a regular basis, so they'll pay a monthly fee for that. But usually it's per item, per what you want. We send out campaigns every week to our clients so that they can understand what our latest service that we're providing. And we're always in touch with them, and they're always calling us. And it depends. Like, they go through different phases of just needing all new linens or all new towels, or they're having a party and can you set up a party, or where certain clients will have set up all their planting. So it basically is per item per se, and some of them are on a concierge monthly fee depending on how much they want from us, and some people just want specific things when they want it, and then it's just price per good or per service.
Okay. So understanding that. So the person who wants all their linens refreshed may not also want their Thanksgiving table. And okay. So you can call up and say, I want you to do Thanksgiving and do all the linens. I want you to do Thanksgiving. I want you to do all the plants. I want you to do Thanksgiving and get all of the paint, molding spruced up or something.
Yes. Whatever they want.
Right.
The answer is yes.
Right. The answer is yes. And I imagine that's probably also because this isn't just about the accoutrements, right? It's not just about the niceties and luxuries, but 3 years in, you might say to them, hey, did you want all of you? I know what I did in my house for many years when we custom built it. I would every year, of course, this was a different world that I lived in, right? Every year, I don't know why it was, but Labor Day weekend for many years would be the weekend that I would go through my entire house and repaint all the moldings, all the baseboard moldings, all the moldings around the doorways, and all the moldings around the windows. And it just freshened up a house that was still brand new, essentially 1, 2, 3 years old. And I always remembered that. And so the thing is, I could call you and say, Lori, please send the painters over to do all my moldings or something like that.
I mean, it's an exclusive service to obviously our clients, but as long as you're a client of mine, you can have whatever you want.
I can hear it in your voice. You're like, LuAnn, there isn't anything you can ask me that I would say no to.
That's right.
That's right.
The answer is yes.
The answer is yes. I love it. Okay. So, and so how do you manage that internally? There had to have been a point, because your business is so large now, and there's people that handle these calls other than Lori, and I'm sure they're not coming to you and saying, how much to do her moldings?
No, they don't call me.
Right.
No,
this is my point.
I don't. No, it doesn't work like that. So we have so they would go to the head of the concierge department. Her name is Chris, and they would deal with her, and she would field it out accordingly as to what they want.
Understood. I believe me. I know that. I know you're not taking phone calls about painting moldings. Okay. Yeah. What I'm saying is, in order for you to empower a team with you to field those phone calls and execute those without 16 conversations with you, how did you start to develop the system of pricing? Does she have the ability to say, or is it, look, when we do sheets, 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, 3 bedroom, here's a price list? Like, you know what I'm saying? It's almost like the designer has the spreadsheet of all their markups. Yeah. It's standardized once you get to a big company.
Yeah, so there's a spreadsheet for things as simple as sheets and towels, and acrylic outdoor dishes or whatever it may be. There's a standard price sheet, but then there's of course a lot of custom services, so that there's a standard markup or there's a standard thing that she may know, but she will. The finance department reviews everything with me anyway, so I would see it all.
Okay. But there has to be probably a great deal of it that has been preset, arranged, organized so that people can do their job.
Yes, right. Absolutely.
And did that arrive, Lori, through years or months of trial and error of you being involved in the middle of all of it?
years. And still happening, needless to say.
Right, right. I mean, that's what I'm saying. I'm visualizing the process. I can imagine what it's like, and I've
because it's an easy call when they're asking for sheets and linens, but it's not an easy call when they want you to do something absolutely outrageous. And
right.
You're like, there's no price for outrageous, so we have to figure out what the price for outrageous is.
Mm-hmm. And the truth is that it's only an easy call for sheets and linens once you've decided 2 or 3 times where it feels right and it is received right. The first couple of times, it's like, well, what would we charge for that, right? And then all of a sudden it becomes, well, what did we charge the last 3 people? Okay, this is what we charge for this service. I mean, that's usually the progression in a company that is offering highly custom services.
And there's a fee also attached for everything that they purchase, which is, let's refer to it as a personal shopper. So there's also an hourly rate fee that is attached based on, what it is that you want for you to be paying basically for a personal shopper to take care of this for you.
Right. So whether that shopper is shopping online or going in person, you're tracking that person's hours and that gets attached to everything.
Yes.
Love
yes.
it. I love it. And then I know the answer is going to be yes, but then you go over and you put them on the bed and you steam the linens and you make it beautiful.
And the answer is yes, you are correct.
And the answer is yes. Okay, I love it. Very, very good. Okay, now, the other thing I wanted to talk to you about was you mentioned to me, we've been having a lot of conversation on the show lately about the design build project and about learning to be an efficient designer that works hand in hand with a builder and provides the best level of drawings and a design book that you can for the level of expertise that you are at your current place in business. And you mentioned to me that your design build books that you deliver are 1,000-page documents.
Could be, for sure. I mean, if you look at on our website, you look at all the pictures there, this would be all rooms from houses that we would have built from scratch. So every ceiling detail, every kitchen, every piece of cabinetry, every molding, every column, every archway, every obviously paint finish, stone finish, every finishes, hinges, doors, like you name it. Whatever you see in any of those images, we have selected everything and we've drawn everything, and we do a lot of custom work. So we have a lot of fine craftsmen that can produce a lot of hand carving, a lot of custom made moldings, and, we do a lot of layered design. We do actually all kinds of design, from modern to Versailles to layered to sexy and everything in between. But, the documents are so grand because, first of all, we want them to be extremely accurate for the pricing process so that people can't say that wasn't on the drawings or I didn't understand it. That's number one. And number two, it's an evolution because we don't do the same design twice. So we actually learn as we design and grow to figure out how we're going to build this. And we have engineers that help us out with a lot of our work as well because some of it is actually so complicated. And then we work with the builders. The builders love us because, again, our detailed drawing packages are so accurate. Not only are they beautiful, but they're very accurate, and it's beneficial on both pricing and building. And then we also have a project management department that, will then step in after the design department and myself have designed the house. Then they move into the project management department after it's been awarded and started to go with the builder. Then we move in and we take over the site management from a construction perspective, making sure that the builder follows the designs and makes sure the quality of the workmanship, which is already a given if they're a builder that works with us. Mm-hmm. But the design is complicated and it needs a lot of hand holding.
Mm. And how many is it? Your team of 40. So how many are in the design part of your business? Do you have multiple teams led by a senior designer? What's that structure look like, Lori?
So I actually, I went to school many years ago with a girl named Julie Ballard, and her and I design everything. So she's our creative director, and she runs the design team, which is approximately about 10 designers and myself. But I'm responsible in terms of the design, in terms of the overall inception of what feeling we're going to do and what we're going to look. And then between Julie and I together, we create the design. And then our design team translates it into detailed CAD drawings, and then we go from there. But we have a accounting department, decoration department, project management department, and the design department. So that's sort of how it's layered up. And since we do everything custom, we have a big decoration department as well.
Okay. And so what that means is, what I'm hearing is that it's not, you're involved in you're at the top level. You're involved in everything, right? It's not like, okay, there's that one house happening over there that you just happen to walk through and see it at the end. You're involved in everything.
No way, everything. No way. That'll never happen.
The answer is no, LuAnn.
The answer is no. Exactly, LuAnn. It's completely no. That will never happen. When that happens, I'll have shut my shop down. So,
okay, that's interesting. Okay, so and look,
and the reason why that is, really, to be honest with you, we are artists at my firm, and we are couture, original, painting, creative, genius artists. And when you look at our work, it's so unusually different, and it's got so many layers and so full of personality. I've sort of developed my own style that I refer to as sexy French, which is basically a collaboration and a marriage between modern design that I love and French design that I love. And basically, we infuse the two together, and we balance it out in some kind of form of synergy. And in doing so, we like to create original pieces. And for that, there is no template. So nobody can go, we don't have a specific style that somebody can say, oh my God, I love your style, Lori, and any of the designers in the office can do it because it's a repetitive decision. That's not what it is. Every house is treated like an original painting, and therefore I'm painting the painting in my head, and that's why I have to be part of the whole thing.
Interesting.
Not just a control freak, just because it's actually part of the design process.
And then, but to some extent, of course, Julie and the other designers on your team, they must be personally and aspirationally and artistically invested and love and this style of yours as well, right?
Well, they do. And you know what? We've trained them. We have lots of designers that have been with us for many years, and we train them. And, you know, the thing about it is, again, if you look extensively through our work, I mean, it really has the full gamut. And so therefore, if one particular designer has a certain style, that may be. But, you know, as artists, we really teach them to be seriously creative. And when we review things like, you know, I mean, I don't like the repetition of any kind of certain details. Like, no, we've already used that detail, new detail. Let's figure something else out, you know, or, you know, for somebody's house, you know, we'll have clients that say, oh my God, I saw so-and-so's house and I have to have that. I'm like, okay, well, that's for them. Now what are we going to do for you? So
that's an interesting point, because I'm sure that happens. And at that level of the business that you are doing and the client you're working with, you can't just duplicate it for somebody else. We don't. It's actually not allowed. We won't do it. So basically what happens is that they're understood from the beginning when they come here. And most people who are coming to me, they're coming to me because they've seen my work and they know how original it is and they know how different it is, and they want their own painting for themselves as well. And when you're working with that clientele and they're spending the kind of money that they're spending, they don't want somebody else's house anyway. They want something for them. And that's all we're going to do anyway. So they may like a certain genre or a certain style that they want me to develop, or they'll show me some images that they have to have, or some kind of whatever it may be, and we'll work on that. But we create feelings. You know, we're not about necessarily, you know, to me, I'll say to someone, you know, how do you want it to feel? You open the door, what do you want it to feel like, you know? Because to me, it's not about a color. It's not necessarily about a style. It's about a feeling. How do you want it to feel? So that's how I create my design. Love it. I love it.
With no rules, by the way.
Very good. And then tell me a little bit about the evolution of the firm. So take us back now. So we see where we're at. We're at a highly successful firm, highly built out. I know that the processes are in place. Otherwise, you couldn't manage the level of luxury client that you do, let alone the level of team that you have. But bring me back to the evolution of it a little bit. Did you originally start out as a one-man show, Lori? You and Julie?
Yeah, for sure.
Was it?
Well, I actually have a degree in psychology from university, which has helped immensely in my business. And then I went to design school. I met Julie there. So we're talking. I started my company, incorporated in 1987, and I met Julie at school, and it was just myself. And actually, I used to work. I had a little studio downtown, and then I would work at my mom's house or my parents' house, and with my mom was quite creative, and she'd sort of, you know, give me confidence. We kind of worked together, and Julie always did, you know, the sketches for me because she's a fabulous artist. And then I always had like one little, let's call it a little assistant secretary-ish kind of person. And then I went from, you know, myself and Julie and maybe somebody else, so from 3 to 7 to 12 to 18 to 20 to 30 to here we are. So 35 years later, so, you know.
And when you started out, Lori, in the beginning, did you consciously know that you were striving to build a business at this level, or was there a moment when maybe you got to 8 or 10 and you said, keep going or keep it at this size? How did that work?
I think that, I was 23 years old. What did I know? It was good that I didn't know anything. And I just have no fear. And I don't think I would have to have said that I set this standard for myself. I must have so many employees and I must be at a certain level. I just kept going and going. And I just really I was super hungry to create the fabulous houses that I do now. And I've always wanted to do it right from the get-go. And I just figured I'm just not going to stop until I get the clients that I want so that I can perform the magic that I do. And I just carried on in whatever it took to get there. And believe me, there was a million doors that slammed in my face for the whole way through. So, and it hurt, but you know what? You get through it and it just makes you stronger and it just makes you work harder. And I would see, I would see all these beautiful houses and I was just craving to do them. And I think that hunger just drove me through.
I can hear the actual true passion and drive. And that's what it's required to succeed at the level that you have. It's not not quite sure. It's a true focused, driven passion that just keeps
focused.
Right. Keeps blaring down and busting down doors. So can you think back if you've got 10,000 designers listening to you, most of them probably aspiring to achieve even half of what you've achieved. Is there certain aha moments or lessons that in your mind you think that was a big one? I really remember it.
I just think that, when I look back at it, I never said no to anybody who called me, no matter what the job was, no matter how small it was, or maybe how insignificant it was, or how much bigger in my mind I thought I was than what was being presented to me. But I just kept going and going. And I just think that, every time I got to another level, I was like, okay, great, this and this house is going to bring me to the next step, and this is going to bring me to the next step. And I just kept going, and I never stopped, and I never looked back, and I made a million, trillion, gazillion mistakes. And you just learn from your mistakes. And to me, it's never a mistake if you do it once. It's an experience. It's only a mistake if you do the same thing twice. Then it's a mistake. Right. So all through these years, we just going through the motions and just really never looking back and just going and going. And I think that in terms of aha moments, I think every sort of decade there may have been a ginormous house or really significant house by a significant client that maybe took me to the next phase. It would be like I'd work and then I'd get so-and-so as a client and I'd be able to make it really special. And that person knew so-and-so, which got me to the next level, which got me to the next level. And I would have to say maybe there would certainly be milestones of clients' houses that per se that may have got me there. But I think you're right. Just the pure passion, drive, persistence, and being so focused, and it just being obsessed. Like it's 24 hours, 7 days a week, still to this day. So,
we can't hear it. Don't worry. It's hardly coming through. Just hardly, barely. You might convince me that you're passionately obsessed with it.
Just a little bit.
So tell us about the lessons of working with the luxury client. We know that it's different in the big leagues. You have to deliver more, you have to be more, you have to do more.
Well,
tell us a little bit about it.
So the biggest thing you have to understand is, I have no rules in my design, but they have no rules in their life. So therefore, as far as they're concerned, they've never heard and they don't understand the word no. It doesn't even exist in their vocabulary. But that's okay because you have to understand that there's a certain way that this is done. So and they have it's just when I say no rules, it'd be like, something as literally outrageous as somebody calling you to fly to, whatever, LA to go do their house that afternoon and an hour before you're supposed to get on a plane and say, no, you know what? I think we're going to go to Lake Tahoe instead. And when you get to Lake Tahoe, I think we're going to go to Brazil. I know that sounds outrageous, but you just have to go with the flow because it's just mind-blowing what happens to you every single day. And you just get so used to it that nothing phases you, and you have to be on top of it. You have to be there for them when they need it. You have to have enough teams to make sure that they're taken care of. But at the same time, you also have to be strong, and you also have to stand up to them as well, because there's a fine balance between giving them the service that they require and they want and they should get, and I would require and want that same service. But at the same time, you have to be able to be respected, because that's the key. And the respect is very, you respect them, but they also must respect you. And if you can't develop the level of respect that you demand and deserve because of what you're going to give them, then the job can become ugly. So you want to always try to make sure that you're at that place where, you know, you're totally taking care of them, but at the same time, nobody's pushing you around, you know?
It is. It's an interesting fine line. And I'm curious if you have a recollection of actually recalling how to learn that. I feel like, you know, when
hundreds of examples, LuAnn.
Okay. I mean, because what I'm saying is, you know, for me, I think back, it's a lifetime of experience in business where you are consistently and constantly assessing that fine line and getting better and better at being able to hold your ground, but showing respect and giving respect, but quietly making sure you retain it.
In return.
Right.
Absolutely.
So tell us a little bit about that for the younger entrepreneurs who are struggling with, well, how much do I say yes to and still maintain?
I think it's something for as a young designer, I think it would be very difficult to achieve when you're young because, you know, there's a certain a level of paying your dues that is required, both from the client and both from yourself. So I don't think you can go out there year 2, year 3 and just demand the same kind of respect that a seasoned professional in any profession would get, because I think that there's a very big part of paying one's dues that is critical in the path of success. All I could say is that, you know, while you're going on that critical path, you know, if you know in your gut that you're being abused or take advantage, you have to stand up for yourself. But there's a certain way that has to be done. And if you can do that in a manner of which someone will respect you in return, it's very important. But at the same time, you might have to eat a lot of crow, for lack of a better word, or do a lot of jobs that maybe you don't want to do at the beginning. But that's also part of building what you're building and learning of what you're learning. But as you continue that, I mean, you know, the abuse, yes. If somebody's very abusive, which some people are, you just can't help it. Some people just, you know, don't necessarily know how to behave. And those people, you know, when I look back many years ago, and let's refer to it as maybe how I was treated 20 years ago compared to now, like I would never tolerate that now, but I went through a ton of that in my younger years as a designer, a ton, you know, because you don't know what's going on in somebody's house, if they're happy, if they're not happy, what their problems may be. And some people like to take problems out on people, you know?
Right.
So you have to protect yourself as best you can, but sometimes it's not a good day at the office, you know? What can I say?
That's the truth. You know, I have to say, I find a lot in there that I do find that I often talk to the designers that are up and coming and that are learning and getting their feet. Sometimes it is good customer service to bend over backwards. Sometimes it is that you're being disrespected and walked on. The idea that what I love is, because I told you off air, I've raised my daughters to listen to their goddess voice. And to me, what you just said, you know in your gut the difference. And I feel like you have to do a gut check. And is this client really asking me for this because they are being abusive and they are being uncaring and they are being disrespectful? Or is it really just asking for a level of customer service that I should be delivering?
That's right.
You know what I mean?
Right, because there's a fine line between being a princess and being a prima donna, and thinking you're over and above what they're asking you, because guess what? You're not a princess and you're not a prima donna, and it's not over and above what they're asking you. But you got to do it, because later on, if you continue, maybe you don't have to do it. But then there's that fine line, like we were just discussing, between that and abusive behavior. And if your gut tells you it's not right for many reasons beyond that, then yes, you have to stand up. But if it's because you think that you're too good for that, well, guess what? You're not.
Right. I have to say, in the Facebook groups, so often a designer will come in and say, my client did this, and oh my goodness, and blah, blah, blah. And then there's like 10 designers, run, red flag. And I'm just looking at it so often saying, I'm sorry, that doesn't seem unreasonable to me.
No.
You know, you need to deliver an exceptional service. And sometimes...
And you know what? A young designer doesn't even know what a red flag is, because it takes a bouquet of red flags to make it really bad, you know? And that's how it goes. And you don't know that until you've been around enough to know what a bouquet of red flags look like. Because one little red flag, there's not a chance a 2-year veteran, a virgin, lack of a better word, a designer would know what this red flag meant, because she would have had to been burned by that many times to even understand that it's a red flag. And I think that there may be confusing a red flag with something that they don't want to do.
Right. That's what I find. I find it's usually rooted in you don't want to do it, or you are literally placing the blame at the client on their expectation when you didn't enunciate what they should expect from the beginning. And therefore, their request now isn't necessarily an abuse of the scope. It's the scope wasn't defined. So it's really a question. You're still in the ability to say, that's not part of the scope. Here's the bill for that.
Yes, I really don't feel that a young designer, again, would even know what a red flag is, because it would take many years to understand what a red flag is. And the most important thing I would give, if I had to give an advice to a young designer, is to manage your client's expectations. I think that is key, because what happens is that shit happens, for lack of a better word. Who knows what's going to happen? It's out of stock. It's broken shipping. We thought we could do it, but the structural engineer said no. Who knows? There's a mountain of problems that can happen every day. But if you manage your client's expectations right from the get-go, letting them know that some things just may happen, some things may not happen. We're hoping to go this way. I'm just letting you know that this might happen. And when something happens, you let them know and you explain it to them and you go through it. Because I feel like with anything in life, when you feel like you're ambushed by something that you weren't prepared for, your reaction is going to be way larger than if you're prepared.
Exactly.
So we definitely try to manage our clients' expectations.
I love it.
Throughout the whole process.
I love it. Now, let's switch gears a little bit before I let you go. And let's talk about two peers. Now, I recognize that there are not many peers that you have out there that are running firms at the size that you are. But talk about the designers that do have firms of 15 and 20 and 25. And some of, I'm sure, the challenges that you face as the leader of that team of 40 are similar at 25, because a lot are the same. But then that next level of going to 40, are there things that you can say that you learned with going from, say, 15 to 25 employees and from 25 to 40 that you recall as this was the hurdle, this was the challenge, or this was the secret sauce in me wrapping my brain around a business this size?
Well, obviously we can take on a lot more projects having a company this size than we would have if we just had, a much lesser staff. But I think that mainly it would just be the fact that we would just be able to not only handle the clients, we were able to add in other staff. Like, for example, we have a process engineer, which helps with our operations. We have a lot of infrastructure people that have added to the mix of these employees to make sure that our processes run as smoothly as they do, and having other professionals on the team that have nothing to do with the design to make sure that we are handled as we're going through this. I would just have to say the main difference is being able to handle a much bigger workload. And then, of course, being able to have a lot more trades, like, just really want to work for us and take care of our projects. So it's it's at that level where you sort of, you feel that you've really sort of, can take on whatever it is that challenge that may come to you when you have that support.
So what I'm hearing is there is a point where your staff grows more by adding the types of positions that support the actual back-end process as opposed to the front-end design process. It's layering.
Yeah, that's critical.
Yes,
that's
layering
critical.
all that in so the work gets done according to process and the balls don't drop.
Yeah, because, the thing is now, when we, at the beginning, many years ago, an install that you would be doing one room would take a day. Like now our installs are 3 weeks long,
Wow.
So, it's, you're basically, decorating, and after we finish designing it and doing everything and the house is ready to receive, it's 1 week of deliveries and 2 weeks of setup. So it's a big undertaking. But again, only at this level of staff and clientele am I able to do that. But one thing is true, like there is a lot of background people that work for me. Like we have an accounting team that, we have like 7 accountants just in our office, just to take care of the finance end,
Whoa, that's amazing. And then the other thing that you've mentioned a couple of times is that you're at the point in your firm where outside trades that own their own firms but specifically are exclusive to you. You mentioned your window treatment company. Tell us about some of those firms and how does that develop? How do they finally say all my eggs in your basket, Lori?
Well, we have like upholsterers and millworkers and contractors and builders and drapery people. So what happens, you give them enough work that, their shop is at capacity, and 95% of the product that they're spewing out is mine. So, when you have that many clients and that many projects that, require, like, imagine how many pieces of furniture, obviously a 20,000 square foot house requires. Mm-hmm. And if you're doing multiple of those at a time, that's a lot of furniture that requires a lot of sewing and a lot of upholstery and a lot of fabricating. So and I'm a very loyal person just by nature, and I would rather train people that I really like to, produce the kind of quality that we need. And then we can, we sort of have an ingrown sort of family that, takes care of us and our clients.
That's outstanding. So interesting. Anything else that you can think of that you just know was super valuable to you in your personal journey in growing this business and growing this firm? Or is there? Go ahead.
Yeah, I actually have an answer. I think that what's interesting for me is because I work for so many successful people. I watch, I listen, and I observe, and I watch a lot of these self-made people who are very successful businessmen, and mostly men, unfortunately, and women as well. And I think, okay, like I watch them. I think, okay, is there anything I need to learn from this person? Is there anything about this business that would really help me in my business? And I feel that the part of the success of people is you have to listen. And I think a lot of people think that they listen, but they really don't listen because they only hear what they want to hear, or they only apply it to what they want to do. So whether it be constructive criticism, or if I see somebody's company and I see, whether it be their work ethic or the way they think, talk, work, or whatever they do, I feel that I've learned a lot from all my clients, not from, obviously, from the design point of view, that comes from my head, but in terms of running a business, what's right to do, what's wrong to do. When I see somebody and I don't believe in what they're doing, I will not incorporate that. Or when I see something that, wow, geez, Laura, you should do it like this. This seems to be really good. And I think my clients subconsciously, through organic ways or who knows what, through osmosis, they've certainly helped me grow my business in terms of me understanding business and how to do what's right, what's wrong, and what would be good for me. And I think that's been very helpful to me.
I can see that as being true. It's no different than all of the people that you have on your staff that have the benefit of working with you. And so maybe they're not exactly doing what you're doing, or they're not exactly with you every minute of the day, but they're always observing and absorbing and learning your philosophies and your business practices. And there's the same thing that you're doing with these successful people that have companies your size and probably 10 and 20 times larger than your own company, my guess is, right?
Yeah. Yes. Way bigger. So.
Right. Tahoe, Brazil, and LA all on the same plane trip. I mean.
Yeah. So, I'm just saying, and I learn from them, and I watch and I observe and I listen. And I know I'm stressing this word listen, but I truly feel that there's a lot of people that feel that they listen, but they don't really listen because they don't understand what listening really means. Because listening really means if somebody's giving you good advice because they're better than you, or smarter than you, or older than you, or more experienced than you, or whatever it may be, if you're going to take it, then you got to follow through with it. You can't listen and, okay, I'll take 12.3% of what you're saying, so.
Right. I know. I always say, don't leave it in the notebook. If you wrote it down because it was important, then go act on it. Right.
Yes.
And have you, to that end, this has been informal mentoring and absorbing this information. You must have a cadre of advisors and mentors around you from a professional standpoint as well, that you've probably invested in the development of yourself and your company.
Well, I have a CEO in my company, and she is very, very good. Her name is Meg, and her and I work very closely together in running the business. And she's I'm grooming her, obviously, so that I want to concentrate more on the design part and not running the business because it's such a tedious, huge thing. And I feel at this point in time I'm ready to step down from running the business and just really concentrate on only the design, which is what I love the most. But yeah, I think it's, like I said, my father, my parents were very instrumental in mentoring me and helping me and giving me the tools that I needed to be, such a strong, working, focused individual. And it's really just the people around me that I listen to, and I try to make sure that there are people that can help me. And I listen to the advisors. If you're going to hire a lawyer, then you got to listen to them. If you're hiring the big accounting firm, you got to listen to them. So I've always been a proponent of definitely listening to the professionals, and I try to, keep people around me that have better skills in certain things that I don't, that I can learn from.
I love it. I love that you have figured out that as you continue in your career, you do want to continue to work, but you want the work to be the work that gives you joy. And that in order to do that, though, you do need to have groomed and taught somebody how to run your business side. So that's awesome. Terrific, Lori. What a great goal to look forward to be able to come in and just be
I can hardly wait.
Yes. Well, it's a lot of years of wearing both hats, and it gets tiring, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
No. Well, at this point in time in my career, we're about to launch a product line very soon, and I've been doing this for so many years, and I love it. But running the business is also a huge full-time job, and I just think it would be better suited if I could train and mentor a CEO who understands the business and who's extremely intelligent that can help me do this, so that I can really do what I love.
Love it. Tell me about the product launch. What is that about?
Well, obviously, as a designer, you see products that you buy and purchase on a regular basis, and then you have a thrill and a love for something that you want to do. It's about, it's something obviously I've thought about for many years, probably over 20 years, and it's about 4 years in the making. So we're ready to launch now. So it's going to end up being a full, lifestyle e-commerce site of everything available. Right now, we've just got, for our initial sort of soft launch, we're just going to have some pieces of furniture, some tables and consoles and such, but it's all custom designed. It's in Europe. It's all designed by us and made in Europe and Portugal and Italy. And it's all beautiful lacquered furniture with glass detailing, something that I love so much. And so we're just starting the launch. It should be ready, I guess, in about a month. And we'll see how it goes. And we're going to continue to add to the product line so that hopefully in about 5 years, we have like everything that you need.
Wow. And what's the name of it?
It's called Le Magazine by Lori Morris, which is French for store, because I like French, and my thing is sexy French. That's our little gig here. Yes.
I love it. So we'll have to look forward to that. That's a real congratulations. I know the effort that it goes into create something of that size and magnitude, and on top of running the daily operations of your company.
Yes, I had no clue.
Right.
I had no clue. That was very naive on my part, thinking, I'll just go design a product line. Meanwhile, that was that's been a whole huge learning curve as well. So it's like starting a business from scratch. So.
Absolutely. It's like having you may as well have opened a car dealership under your design umbrella. It's a completely different business.
Yes.
It has the thing it has in common is that it has beauty in common. But beyond that, all of the moving parts are completely different and have different needs, right?
Craziness. Oh, yeah.
Interesting. I know. I've talked with a lot of people that have done it, and some go into it open eyes, knowing fully, and others have that same, had no idea it was going to be that hard.
That's me. I had no idea. I thought, how hard could it be? I design custom stuff all the time, which I do and have forever, but it's a whole different ballgame.
Exactly. Well, I wish you luck with it, but I don't think you're going to need it. I think, the answer is yes, and it'll be fine, I'm sure.
Yes.
Thanks so much for sharing your expertise.
No problem. Thank you, LuAnn. It's great talking to you.
I'm so impressed that Lori has grown her business to such a high level, and now she is working on training her CEO so that she can take a step back from the business side and dive full-hearted back into what she truly loves, the design side. That's a great trajectory for a business to take, right? You dive in, give everything you have, grow it, you wear multiple hats, and you serve as the designer and the owner, and you do whatever you have to do to succeed. Then, eventually, you figure out what you're most passionate about, and you delegate all the rest. I love the way that Lori talked about growing bring her business up to that next level, especially from 25 to 40 employees. That's a lot to manage, but she put so much work into the back end of her business, from making sure that there were teams to handle everything, to forming those long-standing, trusted, exclusive relationships with the tradespeople, whatever it took to handle additional workload. And, it takes a lot of smarts and planning and delegating to do that. We know that, right? It doesn't happen by accident. I mean, she's creating 1,000-page documents that cover every single aspect of the designs. All right? This is a dedication and an attention to detail that I have to truly admire. And I want to say, too, that this dedication to detail is a concept that is shared by our show sponsor, My Doma Studio. In everything My Doma Studio creates for you on the platform, they have your business and the gabillion details that you have to manage in mind, from QuickBooks integration, mood board creation, time tracking. Right? Efficiency is the heart and soul of profitability, right? And attention to detail is the heart of efficiency. So get started with your free trial today. Go to mydomastudio.com/a well-designed business. That's mydomastudio.com/a well-designed business. Now, how about Lori Morris Concierge? Her full-service house maintenance program that she rolls her clients into after the build. I mean, it's genius, right? It makes so much sense, because when you custom build a home, there are so many things that come up along the way. I scratch the floor. I need to entertain. How do I find these little touches for my house that match the level of what I have here and the level of the service that I'm accustomed to receiving, right? This is such a great example of finding that next thing that clients are going to want and offering it to them before even though they want it. All right. And an awesome way to elevate and expand your interior design business. Like I said in the intro, a little shout out to the mastermind group of women that we worked with over the summer. We discussed this exact concept months before Lori ever came on the show. So I was thinking of each of you ladies as she was describing it. Now, finally, I was blown away by Lori's commitment to her artistry. As she puts it, every house is an original painting that only she can create in her mind. I love that. What it is I admire that, right? She's so passionate about it. She wants her hands in every project because that's what she knows it takes for her to maintain that signature style, right? Her sexy French style, that she needs to be the artist behind every project. And that's not easy to do. Let's be very clear on that. But as she has evolved her business, she has decided her own vision for what she wants it to look like. This is what we're supposed to do, right? And maybe you aspire to be where Lori is. Maybe you want to attract those luxury clients. You want to work on those magnificent homes. You want to offer the truly above and beyond level of service. I hope that you take away something from this episode that you can apply to your business that will help you reach your goals. And to help you along, I have a list of Lori's tips that I'm including as a goodie. When I asked her to share advice to a beginning designer or someone along the way who wants to reach that next level and land those high-end clients, she had tons of knowledge that she shared with us, right? So you can go to LuAnnNigara.com/goodies, all right? If you've already subscribed to the goodies page, then you can just go to your goodies portal and download it there, okay? And if you are ready to tackle some of these big obstacles in your own business to reach up and to hit that next level, I have some resources for you. We have a lot of exciting things coming up here, and you're going to want to check them out. The first is Design Build for Profit. Finally, actually on the calendar for September, right? I know I've been talking to you about this since last winter, but Jenny Slingerland of Black Ink Interiors is going to lead this course. She has extensive experience in the design build arena, and she is going to teach you her entire process so that you know what a builder needs and how they need it, okay? This is valuable information that can turn you into the go-to designer in your area for design build projects. I want to make something very clear. This is for designers who want to explore the design build area. So this is for designers that have not done it before. So if you are already executing and have, say, we've talked about it with Brad Levitt on the show, if you're already delivering a mid-level design build book to a builder, this is not going to that A tier, okay? This is, Jenny said to me, she said, Lou, you know who this is exactly perfect for? She said, this is perfect for the designer who has probably done strictly design and decoration. Maybe they've done a kitchen reno. Maybe they've done a bath reno. Something mild, something easy, nothing complicated, but they've got their first opportunity to do a design build from the ground up, or they want to create that opportunity and they want the confidence to know that they can do it. This is for that designer, okay? So not an experienced, I've got 10 design builds under my belt. Let's make sure that we're very clear who this is for, okay? And if you think it's for you, go to designbuildforprofit.com, okay? Designbuildforprofit.com. Registration is open, all right? Also in September, okay, I've got a course coming out about mindset. Lori talked about mindset a lot today, all right? Staying focused and hungry and moving forward. It was her focus and her drive that were key contributors to her success, right? What if you had that same level of confidence? Think about it. Well, life and business coach Desi Cresswell, one of the co-authors of my upcoming book, is going to teach you the mindset tools you need to confidently market and sell your services, which we all know when you can do this will in turn attract better projects. And of course, better projects create better profit. So please go to increaseconfidence, increaseprofit.com. And we also have the profit is in the numbers, okay? So many of us are great at the creative side, eager to grow our business, but get a little lost on the finance side. It's common. I see it all the time. It's the same for me, right? The finance side can be overwhelming, but this is specifically designed for you to help. The profit is in the numbers, okay? 2 courses. One is for designers, window treatment professionals, landscape architects, any of you that need to get a handle on the bookkeeping side of things, okay? Kathleen Anderson is going to lead this. And this is for you if you are thinking, okay, I have a QuickBooks thing, but I have the slightest idea how to walk around it, or I haven't even set it up yet. So this is getting your chart of accounts set up, really the full-on, compassionate, patient explanation of everything that you need to know about putting your business on the QuickBooks platform, okay? So I encourage you. This is a great first step in getting yourself organized, all right? Now, the next one is led, this is 101. 201 is going to be led by Peter Lang, all right, the designer CPA. So Peter has got some criteria. You have to be in business more than 6 months. You need to know how to do your reconciliation. There are a couple of other criteria, but if you have these criteria locked down and you're saying, how can I make this information work for me? How can I look at the information that I find in my QuickBooks and make some great sound decisions and planning from it? So that's what Peter's going to talk about. And of course, since we're meeting in September and October, he's also going to address a lot of that, scary end of year stuff that you've got to get locked down so that you don't overpay your taxes. Okay. So for either of these, visit theprofitinthenumbers.com. Theprofitinthenumbers.com. All right. Now, growing your business to the level that Lori has done, it doesn't come easy. It takes dedication. It takes hard work. It takes making mistakes and making changes. It takes passion and drive, and it takes learning. All right. I hope that you took some big lessons from Lori today. I hope that you find 1 or 2 and you put them into action. And I hope that you decide to be excellent. Thank you so much for joining me again today. This podcast is a production of WindowWorks, your resource for custom window treatments and awnings. To learn how we can help you on your next interior design project, go to www.windowworks-nj.com. And if you're interested in working with me on your business, either through masterminds or one-on-one coaching, or you want to know how to get my book, The Making of a Well-Designed Business, or you just want to know what's going on in the podcast land and where I'm going to be, all of that is found at LuAnnNigara.com. Thank you so much. Have an excellent day.